lovely people, and welcome back to my channel. I woke up today this morning with like the strongest urge to wear Velvet Ribbon from Eldridge again. It's the lipstick I have on my lips right now. It is the most gorgeous, like neutral, slightly cool leaning red. It looks like this. I just received it this week. I actually filmed a video featuring this lipstick already for my Pat McGrath ranking series. For those of you who might be Pat McGrath aficionados, I'm going to link the playlist for my Pat McGrath ranking series up here for you to check it out. But I wore this lipstick when I did my number 7 Subliminal palette, and I wore the lipstick to work yesterday all day, and I was just so incredibly impressed with how well it lasted underneath the mask and how vibrant it remained throughout the day. Now I want to not glorify it too much in that sense, because I have many other lipstick formulas that last just as well underneath the mask and remain just as vibrant throughout the day, but I'm really in love with the undertones of this lipstick because I feel like they're very different from all the other reds that I have in my collection, and definitely all the other classic reds that I thought I had in my collection. I am going to do a separate video where I swatch this lipstick on my lips versus other classic reds that I have in my collection. That video is going to come next week, and I want to actually do this on my lips because, to my surprise, when I swatched Velvet Ribbon on my arm, it pulls a different undertone than when I put it on my lips. So there's something to be said about like the undertones of the skin over which you apply this lipstick. When I apply it on my arm, it definitely pulls more like a magenta purpley red, whereas when I put it on my lips, I feel like it is exactly what Lisa describes it to be, which is a classic neutral red with like those slight blue, universally flattering undertones to it. So I definitely feel like if we are going to compare this lipstick versus other reds, we do need to do this on my lips. This was a very long-winded intro for me to tell you that I thought this is a great day to revisit the Glam palette from Natasha Denona, because it is a gorgeous neutral palette and this lipstick just needs to be paired with something a little bit more neutral. You just need to let her live her life without being overshadowed and overtaken by what's going on your eyes, and I would say the Glam palette is the perfect companion for these type of bright colors. So a little corner of the Glam palette that I haven't quite explored yet is this one over here, especially this gold. I'm very curious how it's going to look like on my eyes, because it looks like a very almost like cool neutral leaning gold. It's definitely not like the warm yellow tone golds that you see in most other eyeshadow palettes. So I'm very curious to explore it, and I would like to do something with the slightly warmer leaning browns, this shade here. I'm going to grab the shade Blend on a fluffy blending brush and run that through my crease. I am really hoping that at least my 2 quads from Pat McGrath Holiday Collection are going to arrive today, because I'm going to just burst with impatience at this point. It's been like 3 weeks or something since I ordered them, potentially more. No, I think it's been 3 weeks. It's just that in my warped space-time it feels like it's been like half a year. Now I think I'm going to apply the tiniest bit of this shadow in my outer corners before I go in with the metallic-y shade. Just run that slightly here in the very outer corner. By the way, are you guys picking up that new Trichrome palette from Natasha Denona? I cannot explain why, but for some irrational reason I actually really dislike the color story of that palette. I don't know what's wrong with it, what's bothering. I think the more I think about it, the more it becomes clear to me that I think the somewhat pastel tones of a lot of the matte eyeshadows is bothering me, but I just also feel like the 3 trichromes in there are nothing too special, nothing that, you know, we haven't seen over and over again. So I don't know, there's something about this palette which really bothers me. Anyhow, now I'm going to grab this shade towards the outer part of my lid, this one towards the inner part of my lid, and this I'm going to pop in the center of the lid, just as Natasha recommends we do. I think I'm going to apply the outer lid shade just using my finger, because I just think this is going to work best. Oh, it's applying really nicely like that. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of glitter glue because I want the inner part of the lid to pop a tiny bit more. I'm going to use my finger to apply the gold shade, just like this, towards the inner part of my lid. It's okay, I made a mess. Now, still using my trusty finger, I'm going to go into this shade, which is supposed to be applied in the center of the lid, and just apply it in between that light brown and a bit over top of that gold, to just make the center of the lid pop a bit more, just attract more light towards it. Into my very inner corners, I'm going to take this shade, which is the brow bone shade, but I'm just going to use it in my inner corners. On my lower lash line, I'm going to keep it also fairly simple. I'm going to use this shade and then apply also this shade. So just as I did on my outer corners, and I'm going to use this same smudger type of brush. Now I'm going to take the brown metallic shade and actually spritz that with a bit of Fix Plus, just to make the application easier. As a final touch, I'm going to grab this small blending brush, go back into the shade Blend, and just apply that here towards the edge of the lower lash line, just to blend those dark shades in a little bit better. Finally, I'm going to apply just the tiniest bit of brown in my waterline. This is one of my Kiko eyeshadow sticks. I believe it's in the number 04. So guys, this is the final look. I stick to my guns when it comes to also the original video that I made about this palette. My opinion has not changed. I enjoyed, I really love the effortless neutral looks that you can achieve with it. Are they going to give you a lot of glitter and like glamour in terms of like very sparkly and shiny eyelids? Probably not, but they are going to give you that like flawless neutral eye that you can achieve without like even moving your brush too much. Like you basically put the shadow, you blend it a tiny bit, you're good to go. You can do very simple looks with it, you can do very like glamorous smoky looks, and I enjoy everything that I've created with it so far. Everything is grounded in the neutral tones, leaning a little bit cooler, but on the whole this is a very beginner user-friendly palette, and I would definitely recommend it to people who would like to get something a little bit more luxurious if they wanted to, and stick to the more neutral tones. That is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick and little revisiting of the Glam palette, featuring the gorgeous, stunning, absolutely beautiful velvet ribbon from Lisa Eldridge. Look out for my video next week when we're going to compare this lipstick to a bunch of other classic reds that I have in my collection. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!